Out of the north from the Black Gate, through Cirith Golgor, there flowed whispering along the ground a thin, cold air. Hey everyone, Yoyston here, and I hope you all are doing well, wherever you are in Middle-earth. Today we have a rather simple but interesting topic about why was Mordor freezing cold, even though it is the epitome of fire, lava, ash, and dust. My friends, thank you all for joining me today. Let's begin our tale. Alright, so we do have a few reasons for this, of why, even in the movies, you see Frodo and Sam shivering in Mordor when crossing the plains towards Mount Doom. But again, in the movies, from its descriptions in the books, it always seems like Mordor is almost like this hellish, fiery sort of land. So why is it bitter cold? Well, to start off, obviously in Mordor, you have Mount Doom and the darkness that arises from it and Sauron's other kinds of magic, for lack of a better word. And this creates a darkness so that the orcs can do as they will and not fear the sun. And these black clouds, this unnatural darkness, blocks out the sun, so obviously this would make it a little bit colder. But I'm not going to stop there. It goes deeper than this, as we do definitely know that Mount Doom itself and its lava and everything had a heat that was unparalleled throughout the world. Not even Enkellogon's fire could match its heat to undo the One Ring. Thus, obviously, the One Ring had to be destroyed in the same place as it was made, because that is one of, if not the hottest place in Middle-earth. But again, that is only Mount Doom. When you look in its surrounding areas of Gorgoroth and Udun and so on, it's definitely very cold. Now, going deeper in a thematic sense, we get this idea throughout the Legendarium of an association between death and coldness, or even Morgul magic and coldness as well, because I mean, we see this with the Black Breath of the Nazgul, for instance. It's just this kind of shivering chill, or the Morgul wound in Frodo's shoulder. It's not described as a fiery sort of pain, but more like a freezing cold chill. The chill of death. Now, actually, an even deeper idea than this is one that always pops into my mind when I'm thinking about these evil places in the world, and that is Morgoth and his legacy. Throughout the world, Morgoth is certainly associated with these evil places like Autumno, Angband, but even Mordor, because he rose Mount Doom in the first place from the ground. Now, obviously Mount Doom, very hot volcano, all of this kind of stuff, but in the places where Morgoth himself dwelt, such as near Autumno and the far north, even in the Elder days, the years of the lamps, freezing temperatures are always left in his wake, in the wake of his fortresses. And I think this might even be true of Mordor in the same sense, is that he didn't really dwell there, but he was responsible for the creation of Mordor. So it's interesting that that might also be part of it. It could be tied to Morgoth's legacy. We also know that Morgoth rose the Misty Mountains from the earth in an attempt to thwart Arome, the huntsman of the Valar, and they are renowned for their cold storms and so forth. Singularly, he might not be responsible for this, but I do think there is a great deal of connection between his freezing legacy and these places. Forokel, for instance, in the far north, the Ice Bay, is certainly part of what was left of Autumno and its surrounding areas. So I think Morgoth might actually partially be responsible for why it's so cold in Mordor. Now, obviously, Sauron might follow in that same wake, and that could be a part of just his presence. Again, going back to this idea of this unnatural cold of evil and death. And perhaps the moment that Sauron was destroyed, it became a bit warmer, right? The clouds broke, that darkness abated, and some of Mordor became a little bit more naturally warm again. Locations that are associated with death as well, such as the Dead Marshes or the Barrow Downs, definitely have these cold descriptions too. So I definitely think that it all kind of wraps together. Morgoth, who was almost a master of extreme cold and extreme heat, and the evil and death that followed in his wake, even as kind of a theme of the earth itself, all points back to this same theme of evil, death, darkness being cold rather than extremely hot, even though obviously Mordor looks just like a volcanic, hellish land where it would be like 100 degrees on a low day. So there we have it. Definitely a smaller video, but still a topic that I thought would be fun to address. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below, how cold and heat are both, at least in their extremes, associated with evil. But also, how could maybe the more minor versions of them be associated with good? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. From this tale, we can see the contrast between the icy chill of death and despair against the small flame that can inspire hope. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Mordor being freezing cold. If you'd like to support the channel and the work we do here, we have a partnership with Mythologie Candles through the link below. Use the code Men of the West for 10% off that first order, or check out Castle Con's Lord of the Rings replicas, and use the code WEST at checkout, and please check out our merch. Join our memberships and Patreon for access to our Discord server and our monthly podcast, an episode of which is coming soon. Take a look at Masters of Mythology, our second channel on myths and legends, and thanks to our Valar tier patrons and YouTube members, Joby Weasel, Ed Patterson, ComicNut64, Zoomi, and Peter Sheppard. Thank you all so much for keeping the channel going. Don't forget to subscribe to join the Men of the West, and my friends, thank you all for joining me today on this adventure. Until the next one.